In this lecture, let us talk about super heterodyne receiver. In short, it is sometimes known as super het receiver. So basically, it is a super heterodyne receiver. Heterodyne means we already know. Okay, so why do we use this prefix super? It is something that we will learn in this lecture after finding out what this receiver is all about. Okay, so let us discuss what we want. We want a typical broadcast receiver. Which has to tune itself, which has to receive the signals, not necessarily at a single carrier frequency, but from a range of carrier frequencies in a certain band of operations. For example, if you take AM radio, then it has 550 kilohertz to 1650 kilohertz. In this range, you have many more AM channels. Okay, therefore your AM broadcast receiver has to receive not only one single channel, but it also has to receive many more channels. So that is going to be typically the case. The receiver is not going to be designed to operate at a single carrier frequency, because sometimes you like one channel and you may not like it. You tune the receiver and receive some other channel. Like in your TV, you can change the channel by using the remote, right? So like that. So we are going to fix a certain band of frequencies from which signals could be received, and multiple sources of information could be available, and you like to tune into any one of those source of information. You put a antenna. So in the space, many channels are available. You should choose any one channel and remove all other channels. How do we do that? When you want to deal with a requirement like this, you need to design a receiver which can tune itself properly and gives us some of the things that we want. Now, what are the things that we want? For a good receiver, suppose we want to enumerate a few important features that it should have, then in this kind of situation, from common sense, we can figure out some 2 or 3 criteria which this receiver should satisfy. The first thing is, you have a receiver, radio receiver, and that receiver, first thing, it should have frequency selectivity. I mean, it should select a particular channel and reject all other frequencies. Okay, so basically what is meant by tuning? More importantly, what is meant by this term, the selectivity, is that if you have 2 radio stations, okay, say radio station 1 and radio station 2. Now these 2 stations are available in front of my antenna. The antenna picks up this guy also and this guy also. I have some circuit in the block diagram in the block such that my receiver should tune to, if it is tuned to radio station 1, then it should completely remove or reject the radio station 2. That means it should have high selectivity towards the radio station 1 and remove the radio station 2. Okay, that means I should be able to reject one and accept the other. Okay, so I should be able to accept one without having interference from the closely spaced frequencies, because radio station 1 is closely spaced to radio station 2, if at all. So it should be frequency selective enough and to reject a close carrier frequency. So it should be frequency selective. That is the first important feature of your radio receiver. The second is, you would like that even the weak signals are captured. Sometimes your transmitter station will be far away from the receiver. Your receiver is there here. Let's say the distance is around some 10 kilometers. Now after the 10 kilometers, the signal strength will be very weak. Okay, so in that case, even if the signal which is coming from a transmitting station which is very far off, the signal strength at the receiver antenna is small. You put a receiver antenna and here the strength is very small. You would like that be captured nicely. Therefore, that property is called sensitivity. So, the second important property of the receiver is sensitivity. That means it should be sensitive to weak signals. Okay. Sensitive to weak signals. What do you mean by sensitive to weak signals? Even though the received signal strength is very weak, your receiver should be able to provide sufficient amount of amplification so that that signal will be amplified and you can get back your message signal. Okay. So, even weak signals, it should be possible to acquire the information. And of course, the most important thing is in all the situations the basic message signal should not get distorted. If the signal itself get distorted when it reaches the receiving antenna, then nothing can be done. Okay. Therefore, output message signal in the receiver is finally that you see or that you hear, right, depending on whether you are having something or seeing something. Okay, should be as close replica of the transmitted message as possible, and that is referred to as fidelity. So, these are the three properties or three features your receiver must have. Okay. Fidelity means the degree of exactness with which something is reproduced or copied. So, generally we need a high fidelity system. That means it reproduces the message signal exactly. Even if you go to the electronic shop and if you are buying some music system, they will say high fidelity music system. That means it reproduces each and every sound very clearly and accurately. So, that is called fidelity. The degree of exactness, how exactly it reproduces the message signal or the original signal, that is called fidelity. So, of course, this fidelity will not work if the signal is distorted. So, these are the three important properties that any good receiver will have. It should be highly selective. The first point is it should have good fidelity. It should be sensitive to weak signals. Sensitive means it should give sufficient amount of amplification for weak signals. So, for example, you talk about the high fidelity system. The receiver should be a high fidelity system. It should produce a very good replica of the actual message. Fidelity means reproduce accurately. Or replica of the your message signal M of t, exactly it reproduces without any distortion. That means your receiver should not introduce any distortion. That is what we mean by fidelity. Okay. So, there should be very small amount of distortion, if any, that should be avoided. Now, one can ask a question, how can you achieve all this? Okay. So, let us discuss one of this problem and see why it is not easy to achieve this unless you do something clever. You cannot achieve all these things together. Okay. Take for example, frequency selectivity, high frequency selectivity and the remaining these two, sensitivity and fidelity. It is very difficult to achieve together. Okay. So, sensitivity, then selectivity, then fidelity. So all these three things are very difficult to achieve together. For example, if you try to achieve all these properties directly at the input to the receiver, I mean the first section is that the receiver front end should be a tunable filter which you can tune to any frequency. This is the most obvious solution to having a receiver which can tune it whole band of frequencies. So obviously at the front end of the receiver you should have a filter which will allow the passage of only single carrier frequency inside and around that. Therefore the message bandwidth, let's say suppose if it is a music signal that we are looking at, like voice or music signal, it is going to be, bandwidth is going to be around 15 kilohertz, not more than that. Let's say you are operating at a carrier frequency is equal to 1 megahertz, 1000 kilohertz, and the bandwidth is about 15 kilohertz with the center frequency of 1 megahertz. Not only that, if it is fixed center frequency and fixed bandwidth, these specifications makes the Q pretty high. For the specifications, Q should be very high. Okay, the quality factor of such a tuned circuit is quite high if you compute it. Okay, this quality factor is equal to, if I recall the formula, F naught center frequency or carrier frequency divided by the bandwidth. So F naught is 1 megahertz divided by bandwidth is 15 kilohertz. Okay, so this will be roughly of the order of 60 to 70 if you calculate. So it is fairly high Q, the Q value is high value. This Q is achievable with fairly complex circuitry, but with this Q you also want to tunable. That means the frequency, center frequency is not constant. Sometimes you listen radio station 1 and then later on you tune this frequency and change to F02, you change to radio station 2, then again you change radio station 3, right? So you keep on changing. So tunable filter is really a tough job. Okay, when the carrier frequency has to be adjustable, then it is a very difficult job and very difficult to achieve. If it is fixed, then somehow you can make arrangement here and there and you can design a high Q tuned filter so that you can reject all other frequencies and whichever you want, you can, that frequency alone you can pass it. Okay, so let's say when the carrier frequency has to be adjustable across a whole AM band, as I said, roughly from 500 kilohertz to 1500 kilohertz. So the overall range is around 1 megahertz. So because this is the operating frequency range of your AM signal, so very difficult to achieve such a high Q, such a high selectivity while having this tuning option. Very difficult to have this in terms of practical filters. Okay, so it is very difficult to realize high frequency selectivity, selective filters, which are also tunable over the band. Difficult realize high frequency selective filters. Over the band. And as they say, you can't have everything in your life, right? People have money and they may not have happy life, and sometimes they don't have money. You can see people are very happy. So as the saying says, you cannot have everything in your life, isn't it? So something here and there. So you cannot achieve all these three things together. Okay, now not only selectivity, you want good sensitivity. Okay, you should not just do filtering operation, you should provide a large gain. Sensitivity means what? It should amplify the weak signal. If your receiver is far away from the transmitting station, the signal strength is very weak. If it is weak, then you should provide sufficient amount of amplification, large gain you should provide such a weak signals. So that weak signal is strengthened. How can you achieve sensitivity? By having a large gain in the receiver. Actually, there is an RF amplifier which is tunable and a high frequency selective and provides you high gain. Now if you have all the ingredients in the RF amplifier, you are bound to most probably generate an oscillator. So you need high gain, right, and selectivity. These are all specification for not an amplifier, it is a specification for oscillator. So you cannot achieve all of them together. Okay, so it will behave like a oscillator when you try to realize it rather than an amplifier, because these are the prescriptions of an unstable amplifier: high gain, high frequency selectivity, etc. Okay, so high gain and high frequency selectivity will typically generate conditions which are very difficult to control. A parasitic capacitance and your various other elements in the circuit will make it highly unstable. Suppose if you put an amplifier and there will be some parasitic capacitance like this and like this, right? So these are the things will come into the picture, so that the circuit will be highly unstable, very difficult to realize such a tuned filter which provides all these three things: frequency selectivity, sensitivity and fidelity. Of course, fidelity would simply requires that the bandwidth of the filter should be sufficient to pass the message without distortion. If the bandwidth is less, for example, if it is 15 kilohertz and the bandwidth of the filter is not less than 15 kilohertz, then some portion will be attenuated. So therefore, it will not reproduce the signal exactly, so the fidelity will go. So fidelity directly depends upon the bandwidth of the tuned filter. Okay, so if it is a 15 kilohertz bandwidth signal, over the 15 kilohertz, you don't have a lot of variation in the frequency response of the filter, either in amplitude or in phase. Let's say this is center frequency, and from this f0 plus 7.5, f0 minus 7.5, all are in kilohertz. Okay, now it should produce some constant up to here, and then it can go like this. In case if the filter responds like this, then in this region it offers more attenuation, and here less attenuation, and here no attenuation. In this region no attenuation, and in this region less attenuation. Therefore you cannot achieve high fidelity. If you have constant response f0 plus 7.5, then f0 minus 7.5, then no problem. But in reality you will not get this kind of ideal filter characteristics. Okay, of course phase distortion is not very important in voice applications, because our human ears are insensitive to phase distortion, but it is fairly important in TV applications, okay, picture applications. Now you can ask a question: if sensitivity is increased, how do you increase the sensitivity? By giving proper amplification. So in that case what will happen, it will also improve the response to the noise also, because noise also coming along with the signal. Okay, it is true, but ultimately what matters is signal to noise ratio. Okay, so if you take signal to noise ratio, then SNR will be increased. So you want to make sure that only that portion of the spectrum is allowed to pass through which carries the message signal. That is why they have to be selective. Selective also required not only to avoid the interference from other sources or from other transmission, but also to ensure that too much noise does not come through your receiver. because noise is typically distributed equally at all frequencies. So only you want to live with that amount of noise which is inescapable. See, in this portion, whatever the noise comes, that noise you cannot avoid. Okay, the noise is sitting along with your message signal. But whatever the noise comes in this region, that can be avoided. That can be avoided. So frequency selectivity will take care of that signal to noise ratio and noise amplification to some extent. So the other points therefore I made are the tunable filters of this kind also cannot easily be made. If you pay price, you can always get everything that you want. Okay, so you have to pay a very heavy price in that case. They are not easily made to be highly sensitive or let us say with a high fidelity. Therefore, the important point is tunable filters also cannot easily be made to be highly sensitive or with a high fidelity. So these are the problems that we face when we design your broadcast receiver by considering all these three features together. Okay, so this is and this high fidelity is not a key problem. That to some extent you can satisfy that. Okay, so tunable filters cannot be made highly selective. They cannot be made highly sensitive. Okay, and these are the requirement you should like to have in a receiver. Fidelity is not an issue at all. So how do you achieve this requirement? What is the alternative? The hint is that the discussion that we had last time about frequency translation and mixing should provide us a solution. That is the reason we discussed that one. Okay, now so the solution to this problem is trying to remove or trying to achieve these three properties by converting an incoming carrier frequency of interest to a fixed frequency. Okay, so therefore what you do to achieve these three things: selectivity, sensitivity and fidelity. How do you do that? You convert, or how do you achieve this? By converting any incoming carrier, because the incoming carrier ranges from 500 kHz to 1500 kHz in AM. Any incoming carrier frequency of interest to a fixed frequency. Okay, so this fixed frequency, it is typically known by the name of intermediate frequency. Intermediate frequency. Sometimes people will call in short IF. Don't confuse with image frequency. Okay, so last time I put I wrote image frequency. There also I and F, and here also intermediate frequency. That is different, and this is different. Here IF is more commonly used for intermediate frequency. Therefore, the receiver carries out most of its nice jobs that it has to do at this fixed frequency. So what you do, whatever the frequency comes in, that frequency is converted into a fixed frequency, a constant frequency, a standard frequency, that is intermediate frequency, IF. and therefore a typical receiver or super heterodyne receiver precisely does that. You have a signal coming in from the antenna, okay. The first stage has to be the radio frequency stage, RF stage. Okay, which carries out the initial filtering. This RF stage carries out initial filtering and maybe some amplification. It not only does initial filtering, also some amplification to certain amount. So remember, the filtering has to be done for two reasons. One, to reject other signals, that means other channels. Okay, the other to remove noise, that is remove out of band noise. That's what we mean by noise, because whatever the channel that you are interested in that channel bandwidth, noise will be there. That noise you cannot remove it. But neighboring channels noise can be removed, that is predominantly removed by your RF amplifier. Okay, the noise which does not lie in the message bandwidth, the noise which lies on the message bandwidth, you cannot do, you can't do anything really very much about it. It has to come along with the message signal. So whatever the message signal is coming, your modulated signal is coming, along with that the noise also comes, that you cannot remove at all. But from your neighboring channels, okay, whatever the noise is coming, that can be eliminated significantly by using the RF amplifier. So you have a tuned RF amplifier, tuned RF amplifier to a certain frequency, and may not be very highly frequency selective at the moment. So this RF filter may not be very highly frequency selective, because we are saying that selectivity we will put in somewhere else. Okay, so that is why it does, but not to the record level. Okay, so we are roughly tuning to the frequency of interest which we want. So next, what should we do? We should convert this signal to an intermediate frequency. So how do you do the intermediate frequency? I need a fixed frequency. So frequency translation, that we did in the last class. So you put a multiplier, give it to this guy, and here there is a local oscillator. Okay, and this one will be image frequency, let me denote by omega suffix if, and here this is the incoming carrier frequency, omega c. Now in order to get this omega f, what should be my local oscillator frequency? Omega c plus or minus omega suffix if. Okay, so one input to this mixer is omega c, the other input is from the local oscillator. So this box is called a mixer, multiplier and a local oscillator. In fact, you put a filter, but I am not showing here. Okay, put a filter, and then that is, you just put a filter, that is not there, and it passes only omega if, and remaining all are rejected. Okay, so this stage converts frequency into omega if. Whatever the signal comes here in this point, that will be converted into a fixed frequency omega f. This omega c varies from 500 kilohertz to 1500 kilohertz. What I am saying is 500 kilohertz less than or equal to omega c less than or equal to 1500 kilohertz. So if you tune this radio frequency amplifier, radio frequency RF stage, and this also tuned, local oscillator frequency also changed. If this omega c changes and this omega also changes, both are interlinked, ganged up. This section also changes and this section also changes. Your RF amplifier is tuned up the same range, same way, by common procedure. The local oscillator frequency also changed. If the incoming signal is omega c1, the local oscillator will be omega c1 plus or minus omega if. If it is tuned to omega C2, then local oscillator frequency is tuned to omega C2 plus or minus omega IF. Therefore, at this point the frequency is always omega suffix IF. Whatever the input signal comes to the mixer, the output will always be omega IF. Okay. Of course, you have to make sure that these two things, local oscillator and the filter and the amplifier combination here and the local oscillator here, they are tuned together. You cannot tune separately a RF amplifier and tuned local oscillator separately. Both should vary together. Okay, so the change should go uniformly. Generally what they do is, you have a RF filter and amplifier, give it to multiplier, you have a local oscillator, then a common tuning will be there like this. Okay, this happens together through single ganged up set of capacitors. So, you take ganged up set of capacitors. If you vary the local oscillator frequency, the same proportion this RF amplifier, RF filter and amplifier frequency also will be changed. In fact, I don't know if any of you familiar with okay, I mean, you might have opened the radio set and you will see a set of parallel plate capacitors which are ganged up together. There are two sets of plates. When you do tuning, basically both the set of capacitors will move in and out. So, the ganging up is done to change both the local oscillator frequency as well as the center frequency of the tuned filter, RF filter. So that the difference between this guy omega C, here omega C plus or minus omega IF is always omega suffix IF. Okay. So, this is now passed through an IF amplifier. So, after this you put an IF amplifier. This IF amplifier which provides all the nice properties you want from the receiver. So, from the IF amplifier you can make it frequency selective because its bandwidth can be exactly 15 kHz, and designing an amplifier with a narrow bandwidth is not a problem. Okay, no more no less. Typically you are providing a bandwidth of 15 kHz in a radio receiver. The different transmitting stations would have frequency separation of about 20 kHz or 25 kHz. So, you want to make sure that an adjustment or adjacent signal which is 25 kHz away and does not come out at the output of your IF amplifier, so that the IF amplifier will take care of all those things. Okay, let us say this is my omega IF, you have the channel omega IF and this is the bandwidth. So, your tuned filter, if you look at the characteristics, it will be like this, very narrow, like this. So, it is almost constant in this range, high Q tuned filters. So, the next channel comes somewhere sitting here and that will be completely not selected by the IF amplifier, because let us say this is my 15 kilohertz and the next channel is, let us say, somewhere sitting here. So, that will not be given any attention by this IF amplifier. So, the IF amplifier will take care of the frequency selectivity. So, that kind of selectivity can be provided by the IF amplifier. Similarly, the IF amplifier can provide you the high gain, because this is at a fixed frequency, you are not changing the frequency, right. Whatever the frequency comes in here does not matter, your output is always omega IF. Okay, because of because this is at a fixed frequency, so realizing such an amplifier with a high gain is not at all a problem, and of course it can give you the fidelity that you want, high fidelity. So most of the fidelity problems arise not at this stage in IF amplifier, but generally this fidelity problem arises at the power amplifier, power stage, which typically follows the IF amplifier, power amplifier. So in this point, the nature of the signal and let me put this point is A and this point B. If you compare point A and point B, the signal that is coming in A and the signal that is there in B, both are identical. Why is it identical? We have done only the frequency translation. Okay, let us say at this point the signal is at 550, let us say 1000 kilohertz. This is omega C1, then you just translate it to omega IF. Initially the spectrum is somewhere like this, 1000 kilohertz. Okay, so I am sorry. Now what you do after your IF stage, it is moved somewhere else, that's all, just you are replacing to a constant point omega IF. So therefore point A and this point B both are identical, they are same. The only thing is you are translating the modulated signal to some other carrier frequency, and that frequency is fixed irrespective of the incoming channel. Okay, so all you have done is translated the modulated signal from omega C to omega IF, that's it. So you again get an amplitude modulated signal. So at point B also your signal is amplitude modulated. We are down converting the frequency, that's all. So in this point also amplitude AM modulated, and in this point B also AM modulated. Till now we didn't do any demodulation, except that carrier frequency is changed, that's it. That's the only thing we did now. Initially it was no very high carrier frequency, now it is come to a fixed carrier frequency, that's it. So after this you have to do the demodulation. Before the power amplifier you do the demodulation, for which you can use whatever you would like to use. Typically you can go for synchronous demodulation or carrier reinsertion method or envelope detector, whichever you like it. So typically in this kind of application it is an envelope detector. In AM modulation you use envelope detector followed by a power amplifier. So after this IF amplifier you put a detector, envelope detector, and followed by a power amplifier, right, and this power amplifier output is given to the speaker if it is a audio signal. Okay, so now you after envelope detector, now you have the message signal which you want to which you want to amplify, that is power, we need to amplify its power in order to drive the speaker. Okay, before you want to drive the speaker you have to amplify its power. Sometimes if it is not audio signal you can give it to the display device. Let us say it is a voice or music, so it will go to the speaker. So this is a typical block diagram of a radio receiver. Okay, so let me explain a little bit about IF amplifier. Basically what we are saying is IF amplifier is at a fixed frequency. What is a fixed frequency? That is omega suffix IF. If the frequency is fixed, then it is very easy to design the amplifier and it is very easy to filter also. So that is the reason we always wanted to convert the incoming signal into a fixed frequency signal. Okay, no matter what the incoming signal frequency is, the same signal is now available at omega if, same amplitude modulated signal. It is easy to design an amplifier of fixed frequency rather than varying over wide range of frequencies. With if the frequency is fixed, then you can achieve this property like high selectivity and high sensitivity. They are very easy to build. It is very easy to build an amplifier of fixed frequency rather than an amplifier of variable center frequencies. So you can make it a high selectivity in the sense that two signals which are separated by a certain amount. Suppose if the RF amplifier, look at here, RF amplifier does not do the job well, then the two signals which are close by will come over here to the IF amplifier. If the RF amplifier doesn't do the selectivity properly, then the neighboring channel will come to the IF amplifier. But IF amplifier has very high selectivity, therefore it will completely remove whatever left out. So two signals which are close by will come to the IF amplifier, and it will not be just omega c but a few other frequencies which are close to omega c. Okay, will also come to the IF amplifier with some amplitude. So they will also be present before the IF amplifier, but their frequency will be slightly different. They are not exactly removed from the local oscillator frequency by omega IF. So in that case, what will happen? You can use your IF amplifier and you can reject it. Okay, so this IF amplifier will be able to reject them, even though sometimes if RF amplifier is not doing its job properly, then a properly designed IF amplifier will completely remove those interference, because it is designed to only accept the true omega IF. Any other close by frequencies which are not of interest, it will reject that. Your IF amplifier will reject that. Therefore, you can make the IF amplifier as frequency selective enough to reject all close by signals which are not rejected by the RF front end. That's basically what we are saying. That is what we meant by selectivity. Okay, therefore the IF section will give you highly selective operation and high selectivity by providing a large gain to it. So this is roughly the block diagram of a radio receiver. So there are a few features which I have not mentioned. For example, image frequency, that we will discuss a little later. Or now we can maybe in the next lecture we will discuss. Okay, so in this radio receiver I took selectivity, sensitivity and high fidelity. Now there is one more problem. That problem is image frequency. That okay, let me discuss in the next lecture. Okay, let me stop at this point. Thank you very much.